Welcome my fellow Quest heads and VR nerds, this is Eyes on VR where we talk all things Oculus Quest, we talk a bunch of PCVR, we play every VR shooter we can get our grubby little hands on, and we even talk accessories and gun stocks too, but today we're finally doing it. We're taking on the biggest of boys. We've done Contractors, we've done Pavlov, now it's time to do the big boy. It's Onward.
Yeah, here, you want to hunt around, bro?
Hell yes I do. Thank you.
You're gonna lay down. There you go.
Oh, baby. Come on, get them. There he is, got you. He's down. Whoa! I got him.
Nice.
Alright, let's keep moving up. This is ridiculous and I love it. Oh, contact! See him? Ooh, good job. Got you, VIP. Okay, keep in formation, keep it nice and tight. Whew, that was close. Thanks, man. You totally saved my ass.
Yep. 24 enemies left.
Yeah, thanks for the pep talk. And do that. Where the hell did he... Oh! Oh! Get the hell out of me, man. Jeez. Moving up. I got him. He's down. Whoa, he's down. I'm friendly. He's down. Yeah! Oh, crap! Okay, I got him. Whew. There we go. Uh-oh. Just before we jump into the review, I just wanted to remind you guys that we've got a lot more in-depth game reviews coming to the channel in the future. We've got accessory reviews coming as well, so don't forget to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on any of that stuff. Give me a like, thumbs up if you like the video, and don't forget, this is a long, in-depth review of Onward. I'm going to cover everything I possibly can, so what I've done is I'm going to try and put some timestamps down below, so go and check those out. There's also a link to a YouTube channel of a professional Onward player, Theta VR. The link for that will be down below as well. And stick around to the end because I'll be announcing what's coming next week. So what is there to say about Onward? Apart from the fact it's one of the biggest players in the online VR shooter game, no matter what store you're on, no matter what system you're on, everybody has heard of Onward. Onward is available on your favourite VR store for only £19 at the day of this review. So I don't want to start off the review on a bad note for what is such an amazing game, but with this being a fully paid release on all VR stores, I felt the responsibility to tell you that this is still in early access. Which, if I remember right, on the day I bought it on the Oculus Quest store on the day of release, it didn't actually say in the description it was still in early access. You only got informed of that once you were in the tutorial for the game, which is a bit sly, I have to say. So I just want you to know that even though this is a fully paid game on the Oculus and Steam store, this does not mean this is in a finished state of a game or bug-free, and that will become more apparent as we're moving forward. Now when I say bug-free, I mean bug-free as a proper release can be, because there are a few bugs here, but in my personal opinion, most of them just relate to graphical issues rather than gameplay itself. And speaking of those graphical bugs, you're going to have to forgive me when I show some examples on the screen of any animations or mechanic, because you will see those bugs. Now, to clarify, everything works perfectly well from your own perspective. But if you're looking at someone else, most of the time, these things just don't work. You'll see people eject magazines from their gun. The empty one will hit the floor, but their gun will still have a magazine in it, even though they've not put a fresh one in yet. You'll see people open ammo boxes around levels to get ammo bags out, which they do, but you will not see that box open, and you will not see them get magazines from this box. You'll just see their hand go into this closed box, act like it's opened it, and reach in and pull things out of it. But like I say, from their perspective, everything they're doing is working absolutely fine. But in third person, you're going to see guns flying around, elbows going through faces, guns going through legs and heads. The character models can look really messed up sometimes. But now we've got that out of the way, normally I talk about what makes a game unique above others, and Onward doesn't really have a lot that makes it unique, but when you combine the way Onward is played with the majority of the player base that play it, it makes the entire game unique. So we're going to cover everything, ladies and gentlemen, today. If you're on the fence about whether to buy Onward or whether you've played it and maybe you've missed some things, you're going to find out everything you need to know in this review right now. Onward is a military simulator, or MilSim as you'll see it advertised and you'll see it called on Downpour Interactive, the developer's website. This means exactly what it says, in the fact that it tries to simulate an authentic military experience with everything in Onward's control, like your weapons, the way they behave, the extras such as grenades, flares, riot shields, body armor, flashlights, different ammo types, maps that represent common military encounters from the past and the present. Whether or not, of course, you play this game in the way that it's intended is entirely down to you. And having that definition of a MilSim, unlike other games, brings in a unique type of player base. When it comes to playing this game, the majority of the player base here are people who you won't find in many other shooters, because Onward accommodates them here primarily over most VR shooters. Onward has a lot of hardcore fans and a lot of hardcore players. This is one of the most popular esports VR games that is used as well. Now, don't let that put you off if you're more of a casual VR shooter or a casual VR player. The majority of the community here, some of the friendliest people that you'll meet in VR, a lot of them are very cooperative and understanding that people just joining the game have no idea how to do much of anything at all. Like, they don't know call signs, they don't know the maps well enough to call out enemy positions using specific landmarks everybody knows, radio signals, or tactics and things like that. They understand that, and they are very accommodating a lot of the time. I've seen it a whole bunch, and even I've stopped to help people myself when they're struggling with, say, certain reloading. I'm looking at you, the M249, but I was also one of those players, so I understand that. What helped me appreciate the game and the player base is the fact that when I first started and I asked questions to people more experienced than me, when I first started to play, they were absolutely happy to help me and show me the ropes. This is a great etiquette in Onward, and something the monotone messiah himself, Theta, linked to his channel below, would be proud of. Because while Onward has a shooting range with access to all of its weapons, it doesn't really explain how to do everything with those weapons. It doesn't show you how to light a Molotov cocktail. It doesn't show you how to reload your bag magazine weapons like the M249. It just shows you the basics, and I think it assumes you're already quite a fanatic when it comes to weaponry and the military, so they don't really think you need to be told everything but the basics, from explaining how to move and how to reload certain weapons, and then they just let you go on your own. Like I said about the M249 and belt-loaded magazines, every newcomer is going to get stuck on exactly that thing when it comes to the game. And I know this pain well, because I was exactly the same way. Say when you press reload in Call of Duty or Battlefield or any other game, and you're holding an LMG, a bag-fed LMG, you press square or X or reload or whatever, it just happens before your eyes and you're not really thinking about it. And everyone hits the same issue. They just try and put the bullet straight into the gun, and then that's it. Everybody forgets you have to open the top of this LMG to put bullets in and then close the top again. I've seen it 1,000 times. I've done it a bunch of times when I first started, and when you see it after you know it, it's absolutely hilarious. Now, keeping in theme with the player base, people come here for a serious time. They come here to put their most method-acting military foot forward, from the way people use call signs and respond over the radio, to how they move, their gun discipline, their tactical planning. Most people are here to play a serious game. But, like I said before, they also understand new people do come into this game, and it would seem from what I've seen that 99% of the time, those who are more experienced enjoy passing on their experience and understanding of this game to newer players. And also, you can filter matches by competitive games and normal games, and obviously you'll definitely find more hardcore players in your competitive ranked games. So as soon as you fire up Onward for the first time, you're going to get into the tutorial. At the end of the day, it's going to teach you everything that you need to know, from movement and locomotion to how to send an uplink in the uplink game mode, which we will get to. We'll show you how to reload guns that have dropout magazines. It will show you how to reload guns where you have to pull the magazine out of yourself. Now, it will not mention how to reload certain LMGs that require a specific process to reload. But don't worry, I will explain about that later in the game so you guys can know. If you haven't purchased the game already and you're looking at this to see whether you should, you'll be well prepared and not get caught in the trap of not being able to reload a bag-fed LMG when you get into your first game. The tutorial will also teach you how to use your radio, which is absolutely essential stuff in this game. Communication and teamwork is key most of the time. It will also show you how to use your tablet. Your tablet is going to be your best friend when you're in a match. Sometimes someone's too far away or the visual is too blocked for you to tell if you're about to shoot at an enemy or a friendly. Your tablet will display all of your friendly players on the map and let you know where they are, which makes things a lot easier. It will also show the status for your teammates as well, whether they're dead, injured, or doing perfectly fine. So it is a fine tutorial, nothing to write home about. It gets the job done, but it gets you mostly ready for jumping into a game and just getting on with things. There is a selection for the advanced tutorial, but for some reason on the Quest that doesn't exist yet. That's not something that you can try, I'm afraid. Let's get shooting. So the shooting range in Onward is like any other VR shooting range, but it has its own unique moments that really make it stand out for me. So you can have every single weapon in the game for you to test and play with on the range. First things first, Onward's range has one thing no other Quest system VR shooter has, and that is a VTAC wall. Now, this is a wall with holes of varying shapes and sizes at various levels and angles to force shooters into uncomfortable shooting positions, which is really a great touch because you see a lot of people trying to improve their shooting skills use VTAC walls, and they are very good at doing that. Forcing you into those uncomfortable and awkward positions is great for muscle memory when you are caught at an odd angle or an odd situation when you are playing a game in Onward. So it's really, really helpful getting a feel for new shooting positions and really helpful for your training. Now, Onward does have something unique here in the fact that it has proper 12x sniper rifle scopes. And that sets it apart from any other shooter, specifically on the Oculus Quest and Oculus Quest 2, as Pavlov's Shack and contractors that at the date of recording are still in their beta phases do not have proper sniper rifle scopes. But because of these 12x scopes, you can imagine the shooting range here is very, very large. I found it to be pretty basic, but it does do the job. There are a lot of targets at varying distances, some that move, some that are stationary. It gives you everything you need in a very simple, easy, and straightforward way. Also, at the start point of the range where you shoot your targets from, there is a very large target next to certain spots that will show you your hits on target once you are fired down the range. Doesn't matter what target you hit, it will register those hits on the big target next to you to show you where you're hitting. But do note, these big targets can only record 6 to 7 shots at a time before it starts to refresh over itself. So don't go and shoot a 30-round mag into something and expect to see where every shot has landed. And with that, of course, Onward also has its own kill house. This kill house is large, it's got varying levels, varying rooms, varying environmental simulation. You run through close quarters rooms to apartment buildings, wider open spaces. It has to be one of my favorite kill houses for its pure variety in what you're doing and the situations and environments presented within it. I highly recommend that you give it a try. After a couple of runs, you're going to see your speed, your accuracy, your reloads, everything with your weapons and movement is going to improve tenfold. There's also makeshift buildings outside as well that are just completely empty that you can use to practice your flashbanging or your breaching or your team entrances into rooms. Now also in this very large shooting range, if you head up to the top of the hill, you will find yourself a little sniper's shack where you can practice your sniping with those massive 12x scopes. And also you have a board next to you to show you your hit location, and there's even an ammo box up there to replenish your ammo, because walking up and down that hill to get more ammo would be ridiculous. Now, keeping with the simulation roots of this game, even in the shooting range and the kill house, unlike other games, you still do not have infinite ammo when you are here. But there are ammo boxes all around in certain sections of the kill house and on like a big conference table by the shooting range. And I know some people will be annoyed that you don't have infinite ammo, but this is useful in two ways. Apart from the obvious of replenishing your ammo, it shows you that there are ammo boxes in the game and exactly how to use them, because they do pop up in some game modes. And being available in some game modes, if you just pull out your tablet, you'll see a little symbol of 3 bullets. That indicates that there is an ammo box in that location. Wander over, follow it on your tablet, and bang, you've got yourself some extra ammo if you run out. You can always take some more to your team, or let anybody else know where the ammo box is, and help them if they're out of ammo too. Now, we've talked shooting ranges, and that includes shooting, so let's get to the weapons. The weapons in Onward, they look alright. You know, not to be a downer, but the skins on the weapons aren't anything to write home about. They're not like Contractors, those beautiful HD crystal clear textures and skins on the weapons. But Onward's weapons look fine. Like I say, they're nothing to write home about, but they're nothing to complain about either. They're also a lot better since the Quest 2 update, as before they were mostly kind of just black. Pretty much very dark, low texture, low resolution skins for the guns. And before the Quest 2 update, the fire selection switches didn't even work, but there is no fear of that now, as they do work perfectly fine. But now, let's really get into our favorite thing to talk about here at Eyes on VR, and that, my friends, of course, is
guns. Lots of guns.
Onward has a good variety of weapons, and I'll talk about loadouts and all of that stuff after I've spoken more specifically about the weapons now. So variety is good. They have all the standards that you have in your other VR games. You've got your AKs, you've got your M4s, you've got your Glocks, your 5.7s. Of course, you've got your frag grenade, smoke grenade, flashbangs. There's even 200 round bag LMGs for you to play with. Oh, they've also got AKMs, they've got MP5s, they've got G36s, they've even got RPGs for you to have some fun with. So if you're used to playing with a certain kind of weapon or a particular gun in other VR shooters, you're more than likely going to find that same weapon here. And of course, there are shotguns as well. Yes, they are here, but I have to warn you, absolutely none of them are pump action. They are all semi-automatic like your Spaz 12s. So if you are looking for some nice pump action here, I'm afraid you're not going to get it. Now in Onward, you have a lot of customization options for your weapons and a lot of attachments to use. And like I said before, and that includes 12x scopes for real proper sniping. There's also bipods to help you with that sniping as well. If you want to have a sniper loadout, you can have the ultimate one here in Onward. But I hope you have a steady hand, because even with a bipod, shooting someone from across a map with a 12x scopes requires a pure steady hand. You've also got underbarrel grenade launchers that you can use that can fire smoke grenades or high explosive grenades. You've got laser sights, you've got flashlights, you've got all kinds of 2x sights, red dot sight, holographic sight, magnified holographic sight, which gives you a little flip option to magnify your 2x holographic into a 4x holographic, which I find to be a great scope, perfect for close, medium, and far range. You can even have side-mounted iron sights on some rifles, so if you have a 12x scope, you can also have a side-mounted iron sight in case things start to get really close to you. Of course, you've got your suppressors, and you can put that on absolutely whatever weapon you like. You can also have foregrips, and there are stats when you select a weapon that will change when you're attaching certain things, but it will be displayed in real time in front of you, so you know what benefit your attachments are giving you. Pistols, they have a variety of pistols. It's not very large, I have to admit, but it gets the job done. You've got all your classics, your M9s, your Glocks, your 5.7s, your Makarov, the usual suspects, but they can all be fitted out with sights and silencers as well for extra fun. Now, seeing as we're talking about weapons, the question is, how do they feel? Honestly, they feel pretty good. They feel pretty solid, robust, except the pistols, which I think feel a bit light. They seem kind of useless, to be honest, when you're playing in the games, but that might just be my personal experience. Don't get me wrong, I've killed many a person with a pistol in this game. They don't really seem to have that stopping power that I would imagine and have experienced in other VR shooters. But seeing as we're talking about weapons, it seems to be the perfect time to engage the realism review to see what these guns have to offer. We're going to do a quick fire check of just a few things in this segment. Do the guns have bullets in the magazines when you pull them out? Is the magazine empty when you can't fire your gun anymore? If the magazine is empty and there's a bullet in the chamber, can you still fire that one shot? And do weapons react with objects in the world, or do they just clip through absolutely everything? Can you see the bullet in the chamber in general? And special mention to this game because you can use your magazine to count your bullets accurately. If you have 5 bullets left in a magazine, you can see those 5 bullets count down in the magazine as they would in real life. Major props to Onward for that realism. That's a big check on the realism review for these guns, because counting those bullets and seeing exactly how many I have left have saved my ass many a time. Also, while we're talking about magazines and bullets, let's talk about the reload animations on the weapons themselves. These are good for reloading. The sound effects make it feel solid, really good, satisfying reloading.
There you go.
The one thing I can't say for reloading animations in this game, as I mentioned in my in-depth contractors review, when I go to slide or cock my gun, the hand that I'm using does not lock into the mechanism or the bolt. You just have to hold down the trigger and move your hand in the correct motion to trigger the reload. You can even have your hand away from the gun quite a lot, and even completely away from the reload bolt, and still manage to cock it back to do a reload, which does take away some of the realism and immersion for me when you look at Pavlov and Contractors, where that hand locks on to that bolt or to that forward assist. It really adds to that extra immersion and makes the animation feel more solid. But other than that, shooting with these weapons is great. They're accurate, and if you're on target, you're gonna land your shot every single time. And also, they are deadly. You can be taken out with one shot, and not just by being shot in the head. These guns are absolutely fierce, and you need to be careful because they are realistic and they will end you very, very quickly with limited ammunition used on you. And speaking of guns, I'm so sorry to disappoint all the 90s shooters enthusiasts out there, but there is no dual wielding here. There will be no double pistols, there'll be no double shotguns in this game, I'm afraid. It is a shame, but quite honestly, it does fit the motif they're going for here. You don't exactly see soldiers in the field running around with double Glocks and double Spaz 12s in combat. It's a shame, I'm not gonna lie, as there's been times in matches where I've had the opportunity to have dual pistols if I could, and I couldn't. But like I say, this fits with the theme that they're going for here. Now I'm going to talk about accessories, but I want to mention something that sits in the middle, the riot shield. It comes under weapons here, but I can't say I'd class it as one, as I've not seen someone be killed with it specifically either. If you're having trouble, use it. If you can work with your team and work this shield into the mix, you can be an unstoppable force. I've seen people turn whole games around just by using the riot shield. I've even seen someone put C4 on their own shield, throw it at the enemy, leave it on the ground, wait for an enemy to pick it up to use it, because trust me, if you see a riot shield, most people are going to pick it up, because that extra defense really is a game changer. Then they've just blown them sky high with that C4, which is an amazing tactic. Feel free to use it because it is hilarious and super smart. I personally have been covered by a wall of shields while collecting footage for this review, Spartan style, and we were kicking ass. Now, accessories are good here. You can have drones, either air or land, to spot enemies. There's body armor, so you can absorb extra damage. You can choose from an extra syringe, which can be used to heal yourself or revive down teammates. You can also choose from various grenades, frags, flashbangs, smokes of different colors, molotovs, C4, and more. If you're looking for extra fun to add onto your vest, oh, you'll find it. So we've been over the weapons, but what are you going to do with them? It's time to talk loadouts. First of all, when you join any game, be here, the tent. Take a good look and get to know the tent because you're going to spend a lot of time in here. When you get to the tent, you'll be in a lobby. You'll have 2 helmets in front of you, and those are your different teams to pick from. Sometimes you'll only be able to select 1 helmet because the other team is full. Just pick up your preferred helmet, put it on your head, and you will join that team in the lobby. Once you've joined that team, you'll be presented with 4 different class types to choose from. Special mention in the tent goes to the planning board. You can use this to plan your approach. Get really tactical without the other team seeing it. Really get methodical in your approach and your teamwork to get everything perfect for the match coming up. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone draws penises on it every single time. You'll be stood there and someone will go, "Hey guys, I've got a really great plan on the board. You should look at it." It's a penis. "Hey guys, what's that on the board?" It's a penis. "Oh guys, I've got this idea for the match coming up." What penis? So enjoy that. Anyway, back to classes. You've got 4 different classes: Rifleman, Specialist, Support, and Marksman. Obviously, these classes dictate what accessories and what weapons you can choose from in those specific loadouts. But some weapons do play over into other classes. Whilst the Specialist is the only one who can have an MP5, they can also have an AKM, which is available for the Rifleman class and the Support class as well. So you aren't just limited by your class choices, which I think is a very fair way to do things than making people choose specifically all the time. But you are restricted with some of the extras that you get. For example, only the Specialist will be able to get C4, and this doesn't carry over to other classes. Now, what is nice with each class is you have 2 loadout slots for each class, and I highly recommend you make one of them for daytime and one of them for nighttime. This will make your loadout selection very, very quick when you're in a lobby. Now, like other VR shooters, the loadouts are point-based. When you're playing on normal multiplayer modes, Escort, Assault, Uplink, and we'll get to those in a bit, you get about 9 points to work with, and you have to pick an entire loadout and not go over those points. And that can be difficult at times depending on what class you're playing in and sometimes what extras you're looking to add. If you want an underbarrel grenade launcher, then that is basically going to wipe out all of your 9 points, and your loadout is going to be bare bones at best. But believe me, that grenade launcher can really turn a match around, so it is absolutely worth it. Now, talking about having little points to work with in your loadout while playing, if you're playing in co-op mode, which we'll also get to later in the review, the points you get for co-op are massive. It's about 18, so we're talking double what you normally get. It's a lot more points and makes you free to choose basically everything you can possibly get to give yourself an advantage over fighting the AI that are here. The loadout really is as simple as that. Once you've set them up, you're good to go. I highly suggest you take time on the shooting range, or if you just want to jump straight into online, choose different weapons every time you respawn to get a feel for how they act and how they perform, because they all feel different, which is a credit to the game, and everyone has a preference. Some weapons you might get on with, but other people might hate, and other people might love certain weapons and you feel that they're total garbage. It's all personal preference. I've seen many an argument over an AK-12 being better than an M4, but it's all personal taste. I myself have had debates with people over the fact that I like using the 5.7 pistol way more than any other pistol in this game, and trust me, there are some Glock lovers out there, and don't get me wrong, I like a good Glock, no lie there, but in Onward, the 5.7 really just works for me. Okay, so it's time to start getting into online, offline game modes here. But I would say, before you jump into either of these modes and have all the amazing fun that's coming your way, go and have a quick look at all the settings. They've got all your normal settings here. You can set up a gun stock as well for calibration. It's kind of basic. It's nothing compared to the amazing gun stock calibration that Contractors has. But don't forget to take a look there and see what you can do for yourself if you have a gun stock. You can set your height, of course, as well as your locomotion to make sure you're following your head with your movement, not just your arms. I always recommend checking your locomotion settings before you start playing a game. You can change a lot of other stuff too, from what you want your dominant hand to be to where your radio is, and of course your snap turn settings, as well as even some button configuration. So before you start, just go in and check these settings. It's going to make your experience a lot more pleasurable if you just have it all set up right away. So let's talk online game modes. This is where the game really shines and what it's known for. This is why it's used in esports events, and there's an Onward Master League with plenty of clans that play Onward professionally. So first up, we'll take a look at co-op. Co-op's got 2 modes that you can do with 3 other players, making it 4 of you versus nothing but AI. These 2 modes are Hunt and Evac. Hunt is a mode where you will be placed into a map of your choosing with AI, and your mission is purely to eliminate all the AI forces to win the round. It's kind of like a horde mode, but this is a horde mode that you can win. Evac is exactly what it sounds like. You just have to survive waves of oncoming AI until the chopper lands, and then you can board the chopper and be lifted to safety. These modes are simple, but they are very fun. What adds to their replayability though is that you can pick how many AI you want to spawn and the difficulty level or intelligence level that they have. Now these difficulties are no joke. They go from rookie to veteran, and when you go up to veteran, these AI will destroy you. They are absolutely 100% definitely a challenge and nothing to be trifled with. So you can choose from 4 AI all the way up to 128 AI. Now they're not all on screen at the same time, so don't panic, Quest users. They don't just all spawn at the same time and absolutely kill your frame rate or kill your entire quest. They just continue to spawn in after other ones are killed. Now with co-op, basically, you're going to get either unprecedented realism depending on your lobby or absolute madness. Squads tie up or they scatter. You work together or you die. There are no respawns for players here. So that's it for co-op. Now let's look at my personal favorite online game mode, Escort. Your objective differs depending on your team. On one side, your objective is to protect the VIP and get them to evac spots selected on the map. This means one person on your team will be selected at random to be the VIP, but you can also opt in to be the VIP yourself if you want when you're in the loadout menu before the game starts. Now, whoever ends up being the VIP will be easily distinguishable by their white shirt. Now, as the VIP, I'm afraid you only get a pistol with a red dot sight, a laser, and a smoke grenade. But you can be given better weapons by your teammates if they're feeling nice and generous, because once the VIP is dead, the game is over. Also, if you are the VIP, remember you can pick up weapons from downed enemies or teammates as well. On the other team, as you can obviously guess, the opposite applies. The objective here is to eliminate the entire enemy team, including the VIP, or just pick off the VIP as fast as you can, and that will trigger the end of the game regardless of how many other team members of theirs are alive. This mode here is one of my favorite modes because things get so intense while you're playing. Just the other day, while I was capturing footage for this review, which I'll put up on the screen now if you are watching and not just listening, I'm the VIP. I'm being escorted by some of my team to an extraction point. Me and 2 guys, we catch up with another member of our team who went to scout ahead. Shortly after we catch up to him, bang, he is sniped. He's down. A teammate tries to get the sniper and succeeds. Knowing that the sniper is gone, I take my chance, run round to my downed teammate, pick up his assault rifle and as many magazines as I can find on him. And straight away, I'm better armed, but then instantly, I start getting shot at by someone else, and the other 2 guys that I was with come around the corner and try to help me deal with the situation. Then, we're just pinned down in a firefight because all 3 of us are pinned down behind this very tiny wall whilst multiple enemies are closing in from all sides at the same time. We're having a shootout for what feels like ages, throwing out smoke grenades, trying to deal with the enemies trying to flank us. We take out a few guys and then make our move to the extraction point. We just about make it. Whilst we're under fire, I get extracted and we win the game. And that's just one of the great experiences I've had in this mode. It really is so fun, even when you're on the other side trying to hunt down the enemy team and the VIP. It's always fantastic. I always opt in to be the VIP as I've had great experiences with it. Hell, in another game that I played when I was the VIP, I was on my own after my entire team had been killed. I'm stuck in a building, the enemy knows exactly where I am, and they keep laying down fire into the building to keep me inside. I can only assume that they are trying to flank me at the same time. I managed to take cover in a corner where I can see all angles and no one is going to come up behind me. I managed to take out a guy who tries to sneak in the building with my pistol. I try to take his assault rifle, but he's only got a bolt action sniper, which is not very helpful to me, but you adapt. So it's less than ideal, but hey, I'm a trier. So I pick up the sniper rifle and I manage to pick off someone who's shooting at me from a roof at a building across the map from me. I think I've at least bought some time, so I head out, try to get to an extraction point, bang, I'm cut down almost immediately by 2 other guys who had been flanking around the other side and were really, really close. But this is the thing, it's exciting, it's intense. You get completely pulled into that kind of game. It's definitely a very, very fun game mode, especially when you have a team that cooperates. You see some amazing squad and team play when you have a team that's cooperating in Escort. Now the next mode, Uplink. Just as with Escort, each team has its own objective. One team has the objective of sending the uplink code, and the other team has to eliminate the other team completely and stop them from sending the upload code. Now think of it like Counter-Strike Search and Destroy. Someone needs to plant a bomb, i.e. send the uplink code, and someone needs to stop them planting it or defuse the bomb once it's been laid, i.e. stopping them from sending the uplink code or stopping the code going once it's begun. Now, just in the vein of Counter-Strike, to send the uplink, you need to be in range of a certain spot, and in this mode, that is a satellite dish. You have to get within a certain range of it, pull out your tablet, this will show you the upload code, and then in a separate menu, you need to type in the upload code within range to send the signal. To save time, I would look at your tablet right away when you start the round, try and memorize that code, so if you do get in range, you can send the uplink quickly, and that's it, that's uplink, simple as that. Now, this is a great game mode. As well as you gain a lot of tension from just having to kill everyone, a lot of the times around will end in uplink just because someone has sent the code, not because the enemy team has been killed. Now, when you send the uplink code, this is a certain amount of time that has to pass before you win the round. Just like in Counter-Strike, you hear the bomb beeping away for a certain amount of time before it explodes. It's the same thing with the uplink. It starts to beep, and then everyone suddenly has a mad rush all the way to the same point on the map, and then things start getting real intense real fast. And a lot of these maps have great ambush point around the uplink, so it's always a tense time right at the end. Now on to Assault. It's really just uplink with respawns and a smaller play area so you can't flank or spawn kill anyone. This creates mostly just head-on team encounters over and over again. If you want to get into a gunfight fast, Assault is the way for you to do this. So the objectives of each side is exactly the same as uplink, but this time the side trying to send the uplink get limited amount of respawns. The other team, however, gets infinite respawns. So it's all fun and games for one side when they've got 20 respawns left. But when you haven't sent the uplink at 3 respawns left, panic starts to set in and you start to see some very desperate maneuvers. Speaking of game modes, there's also your social game modes as well. You've got gun game, which is obviously a classic. You kill someone, you get a better weapon or just a different weapon, and you have to go through a cycle of a certain amount of kills and guns to get to the top and win the game. One in the chamber, which is a classic I remember from Call of Duty. You start off with a pistol with 1 bullet in it. Every time you kill someone, you gain another bullet. Now, whether that be with a knife or the pistol, depends on you. You could end up with a completely full magazine by the end of a match, or you can end up with nothing. You've also got Spec Ops, which I won't go fully into because I'll save the surprise for you because it's well worth it. Let's just say it takes place at night and only one side gets night vision. It's amazing. Go play that mode immediately. So that's it. You've got your co-op, your evac, your assault, and your uplink. We've covered all the online game modes. Now, when a certain number of rounds are over, worst case scenario, you're going to get about 7. Now, after that happens, the whole lobby gets to vote and select a new map. Once you've done this and the new map is loaded in, you have to pick teams again. Now, I'm not a big fan of this. I understand why this is because it adds variety and you can switch things around. If you're on a team with someone you don't like, you can switch. I completely understand that. But if you've got a good team, you'll load into a new map and have to select teams again, and people will often choose different sides than they were on last time. And like I say, I understand it's good for the variety, but when you have a good team, it really is such a loss to then see them on the other side after spending time with them and formulating a way for the team to work efficiently. Now, online isn't the only way to have fun in Onward. If you're not looking to get into something with other people and either practice, hone your skills, or just have a game by yourself, that is something you can do too. So like I talked about in co-op, Onward has AI. They all look the same and they all speak Russian, but they are absolutely deadly. Now, you can play offline in the same 2 game modes as co-op. So you've got your hunt and your evac. We've already covered that, and I will tell you now, on experience difficulty, these AI will be on you like guinea pigs on vegetables. Things will get real heavy real fast when you're by yourself. Now, there's been some bugs with the AIs in past builds of Onwards where they could shoot you through walls, they could shoot you through things that you couldn't even see through yourself. Fortunately, most of that has been absolutely fixed. And to add some spice to the AI, they did begin with, but then had taken away, and now have back again, the ability to throw grenades. And I will tell you now, top tip for the day, you need to keep an eagle eye out for those grenades, because they'll throw them, they'll land, but you could completely miss them or completely not see them, and then it's your ass. Oh, you've got to be joking. Damn grenades.
Got friggin' grenades.
You can also go into free roam mode offline, where you can just completely freely walk around an entire map, any single map, all by yourself. This is really helpful if you want to get to grips with the area of a map or the landscape, try to find good places to hold out, good ambush positions, etc, etc. One of the great things about this game is it offers you a lot of ways to plan ahead of time. Now we know what you can do in Onward, where the hell do you do it? Onward doesn't have a lot of maps, but it does have quite a few of them twice, because you have a day version and a night version. Now, whilst there aren't a lot of maps, there are good variety in what maps you get. Subway is a great map, one of my favorites. You have an entire street level, but then you have an entire underground level as well that you can go through. Subway tunnels, subway platforms, subway carriages there. This is a very varied level of map to play in. Very fun, because the size of things, it moves slow but precisely, and there's a lot of choke points on this map. I've got to mention Bazaar, because it is absolutely my favorite. You've got quite a large map here with roads going around, the edges of buildings, and then basically a big market square in the middle, and that's where usually everything goes down. That's where the uplink normally is, and the extraction points are not far away from there either. It's a very flat map, but there is definitely something to be said for having a shootout in a market square with buildings surrounding it that you can go inside of, as well as go to different floors. Quarantine and Downfall get a mention here together as well, because they are massive. They're perfect for sniping. You've got access to that 12x scope, and you're going to use it here. To see across these levels, you will need a 12x scope. Downfall is very hilly. It's set in a huge desert out in the middle of nowhere. It's got a bunch of stone buildings dotted here and there with a few vehicles around the place. The buildings can be kind of useless because Onward doesn't let you use ladders, so that's kind of annoying sometimes, but credit where it's due, they have patched into the big towers in this map ramps so you can go up to the top of the towers to snipe. Luckily, the buildings dotted around the map, most of them just have stairs, so you can get onto rooftops and different floors without a problem, and they are so good for sniping. Whether PC or Quest, Downfall always brings out the snipers. Quarantine is a great level for those of you that are fans of the post-apocalyptic setting. It isn't quite a post-apocalypse, of course, but it definitely has that vibe. You know, big open city area, lots of buildings, shops you can go into, gas stations, empty roads with vehicles strewn about on them. Even an airplane has crashed in the middle of this map. There are plenty of buildings with multiple levels and roofs that you can go onto. So it's a really fun map with a lot of variety. People can come from any angle. It's definitely one where you need to watch your back at all times. There's even a cheeky little underground bit that you can get yourself into as well. Now, we talked maps, but what about custom content? Onward has a workshop area, which is basically for all the custom content, which of course is just maps. There's not a whole lot to choose from right now on the Quest, but there are enough to keep things interesting. At the moment, there's some close quarters level, which even in the description state that shotguns are very fun here. There's an office building in the day, office building at night. There's a hotel, and definitely an absolute standout map here, and one of my favorites, the HMS Quest. Realism is completely out the window here, as it's an aircraft carrier in a bathtub in someone's bathroom. There are custom maps coming out all the time, so it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Like I say, the selection isn't huge at the moment on the Quest, but it is well worth a go for some variety, seeing as the Quest version doesn't have all the maps to the PC yet. Now, special mention goes to this game and handing over things. In line with all the team play, unlike in other games like Contractors or Pavlov, where if you're trying to give a weapon or a magazine to a teammate, even if you can at all, you have to throw them at them and they kind of have to catch it, or you drop it in the air and they have to catch it. Not in Onward. In Onward, there's absolutely none of that. If you hand a weapon to someone, they can grab it right out of your hand. Hand over a magazine, you can grab it right from their hand. And that is beautiful. This ability to hand over things smoothly and easily is a real winner. It's so useful. If someone's out of ammo, you can give it to them. If you have a weapon of the same caliber of bullet as somebody else, you can even use their different kinds of magazines. If you have a teammate with a drum magazine in a certain LMG, you can take one of those magazines and put it into an M4 for an 100-round mag in your M4 rifle.
Yeah.
Oh, hey man, that should fit my gun.
Yeah, here, you want a 100 round drum?
Hell yes, I do. Thank you.
He's gonna weigh you down. There you go.
Ooh, baby.
So realistically, if you have the same caliber of bullets, you can swap them into different guns with different magazines, which perfectly lines up with realism here. Well, it looks like that's all she wrote for Onward. This is the most in-depth and time-consuming review I've ever done on the channel. I really enjoyed doing it. I want to thank all you guys for your feedback on all my other videos at the moment. We also just reached 100 subscribers, which is absolutely brilliant. I know really in the grand scheme of things to a lot of people that isn't a lot, but to me that is so awesome. I can't thank you guys enough for subscribing and just listening to me ramble on. I never thought anyone would be interested in what I had to say. Anyway, enough of that stuff. Next week, we've got a mystery VR shooter coming to the channel, which has the potential to be the best VR shooter on the Oculus Quest platform and even PCVR. So don't forget to subscribe, click the bell notification so you get notified next week when that comes out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop me a like if you did. Don't forget to leave a comment. I love talking to all of you guys. Let me know whether this review was actually helpful, whether it's just me flapping my gums for no reason. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And next week's video won't be out until after the release of Cyberpunk 2077. I know I'm going to be playing the hell out of it all next week. I hope you guys have a great time. It lives up to the expectation that we have for CD Projekt Red. And it's just as good of a game as we think that it's going to be. Anyway, I will see you guys next week. Thank you for watching. See you later. Boop.